Hello everybody and welcome to a slightly different video than usual with me, See What You Sow. This is a bit of a map look at a map called The Challenge, the NF Match Map version 1. So we're going to hop right in. I've only loaded up the absolute bare minimum of stuff needed for this map to work, so everything that came with the map. And then obviously things like disable camera collision. I've not got any of my other mods installed, so we can see what the map basically looked like. And I'm starting in farm manager mode to see if there's any kind of difference between how it starts on that mode as opposed to when I started in new farmer. So let's hop in. Right, the first thing that happens when you hop into game, you appear at the store. This is your starting point. Now, it seems like we've got two big stores that you can buy equipment from. And if I bring up the map, here's the map. Now what you've got basically on this map, you've got 4 areas which are exactly the same, 4 islands exactly the same. So they've got the exact same fields, they're laid out exactly the same way, the fields are all the same sizes, everything like that. So they're all the same. And then you've got this middle island which has got 4 fields. It's got some placeable areas leading up to the middle where obviously the main store is. And then you've got basically 4 bridges linking the middle island to the 4 surrounding islands, although there's nothing connecting the 4 surrounding islands together apart from the middle. And then you've got basically water. Now also on this map, as you can see from the right hand side of the screen, we've got a lot of different fill types. Now I'm familiar with everything up to sugarcane, and then obviously the issue I have with this map, and it's an issue I had with a lot of maps like this, as you can also see from some of the labels and some of the stuff, the place names, is it's not in English, it's in foreign. I really wish people who would go to the trouble of making maps like this would make sure they have, you know, basic support for English, which is the internationally spoken language of the world, you know, common international language, English, and then put in your own local languages, whether it be German, Spanish, Swedish, Italian, Portuguese, Mexican, whatever, you know, that's fine. Unfortunately, I've got to now try and guess the blooming fruits from the pictures, the icons. We've got Zweibel, Rogan, Dinkel, Hirsch, Mon, Luzerne, Sorghum, Hopfen and Triticale. I don't even know if they're English. Well, they're not English, I don't know what they are. I just know they're crops that I can grow on this map and plant on this map, and we get things going. Right, so starting up in farm manager mode, obviously we own absolutely nothing. So all the fields on the map are up for grabs. When you start in new farmer, you own the whole map. You own every field on the map. Everything's green. It's owned. And you have 100 grand in your bank balance, obviously, new farmer mode. But you have no vehicles in new farmer mode. You have no buildings. You have no farm. You have no silo or anything. So trying to play this map on new farmer mode would be an incredible challenge, because you can't even get the basics. You know, you would have to buy, you know, there are ways around it, because when you go into the map and you select the ocean that surrounds all the islands, that's 18,587,404 euros. So in new farmer mode, when you own all the fields and all the land and everything, sell that off, and the area of land here that the store is sitting on, and you get 18 million starting budget then to put your buildings and placeables in. But I don't think that's the intention. I think this map was designed and set up to be a multiplayer map, where basically each one of these islands is allocated to a farm, and there's basically 4 farms. Obviously, the maximum number of players you can have on a server is 16, so that would make 4 players per farm. And then the middle bit in the bit in the middle here would be like a communal area, or what I believe the map is supposed to be. There's supposed to be competitions on the map, and I think these notice boards, again, unfortunately for me, are not in English, so I have no idea what the challenge actually is, or what the competition is about, and what the teams are supposed to actually do. But I think, from looking around this middle area, let's have a bit of a run round, and let me show you some of the things. Right, we've got an area, one of the big areas over here, and there are ways in and out of these areas. So we'll go. So this is the westerly one, and there's a sign here, and it says photovoltaic. Now, what I've already managed to deduce from the game, if we go into the thing, we've got all these placeables, right? And there's the photovoltaic. So what you'd do, you would need to place that. And if that's the photovoltaic, it is indeed, you would need to buy the land, this plot of placeable field, and then you would need to drop this on there. And that would be, I suppose, a challenge done. And then you've got the field behind me, which is the wind park. So again, what you would need to do is go in here. You'd need to grab the wind park, which I can't do because we don't have enough money. Let me fix that quickly. I can just do that. Right, fix that. Miscellaneous. Wind park. Right, technically we don't own the land. Right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy all these areas. So buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that. That's the big bit which we don't buy. Right, so we will get ourselves our wind farm. I think there's 4 of them. I might need to just rotate these to make them fit in here. Why doesn't that fit in here? It should do. Might need to have the place anywhere mod, I think. Possibly. We'll do the photovoltaic. Yeah, it's telling me I can't place any of these. So yeah, I think you would need to place anywhere mod on your server to be able to do it, which is a bit of a bugger. And then there's a few other things. So that's the wind park and the photovoltaic. Let's have another bit of a run round. Obviously we've got some grassy areas down here. We could do a bit of mowing. And then obviously you've got the fields. The thing I don't like about the fields on this central island is the fact that they go right up to the edge of this river. And there's a ditch. They're not going to be the best of fields to work if you're using helpers. AI workers, which I'm guessing if it's a multiplayer map, it's not intended to be worked by helpers, it's meant to be worked by people. One of the things I will quickly state, loading this up in single player, do not load this map up with Courseplay installed and active in your mod list. As soon as you open up the game, as soon as it loads into the game and you appear at the shop with Courseplay installed, the game freezes and locks up, and you have to force close the program from Task Manager, force close the game in Task Manager. As soon as Courseplay tries to scan the fields, however these fields have been set up on this map, Courseplay does not like it. So this map, as far as I can tell, doesn't support Courseplay, which again is one of the reasons why I think this map is tailored towards multiplayer. Right, if we come over here now, into this area, I think we're supposed to put houses in this area, which would be these things. And again, I can't place them, sadly, because I don't have Courseplay installed. But I could place them in my single-player game that I started on New Farmer mode. So you would put them down wherever you wanted, blah-de-blah-de-blah. There's this big building here, which has got some stuff and things. There's like a place with greenhouses, look. And then there was a wood sell point for selling wood. And you've got little things like individual windmills, mini wind turbines. All this stuff generates income, look, per hour. But obviously it costs quite a lot to place. Which is why I think it's part of a challenge series. Now, another thing I want to quickly do then is... I can never remember the code, so I'm going to have to go all the way through the options. It's normally after toggle debug state, toggle flight and no HUD mode. There we go. I can turn the HUD off, enable that, rise up in the air with this. Right, so as you can see, here's the central island. 4 very evenly spaced fields. Quite big fields. Unfortunately, I can't run very quick once we're at this... I don't have the player speed mod installed. So you come over here, we'll come over here, and obviously they're all linked in via bridges. So there's a bridge leading to the central island and then to each of the 4 smaller islands on which we have the 4 farms. Now, there are, as I say, there are buildings on these maps, on these islands. However, there is no farm buildings, no no, that's wrong. Each of these islands does have, it has its own BGA. Got an animal dealership. I think they're sell points. So each of the islands has sell points. I think it does have a silo. Each of the islands does have a silo that I don't think can be sold. Again, it would be a lot easier for me to tell if the map was in English, if the author added, you know, basic language support. Oh, we have got a Lidl actually on this map. So again, we've got sell points. So each island so basically all 4 islands have their own sell points, and obviously they have their own fields, and they have strange red crops. I don't know what they are because again, I don't know what the additional fruit types are on the map. But it's nice that there is more stuff to plant and grow on. Again, more sell points. I think this must be your silo, I think. Again, you've got a harbour to sell stuff, look. So each basically, I think if you had this map in multiplayer with a farm set up for each of the islands can basically farm their own fields, sell their own crops on their own island, do all that jazz, and eventually buy things on the main island. So I imagine each farm would get one of these fields and one of these areas on the quadrant, and they have to place those items that I just showed you in the menu. I think that's how it works, and the farm obviously that gets there first and gets everything placed or reaches a certain monetary figure probably wins. It's a good way for a competitive multiplayer map. But I was looking at playing it as a single player because I thought, oh, it's got big fields. It's big fields, it's a bit open. I could come in here quite happily. Fields are, for the most part, on the main island's pretty decent shaped. These ones, sadly, you do kind of have to tweak a bit. Like I say, you will have to use the terrain tool a bit more to change some of them. Areas over here you can fill up with water and stuff, look. You've got grass you can mow. You've got trees you can cut down as well. So yeah, every island's got a little bit of everything for everybody. And like I say, we've got some pretty big fields. Trees if you want to do your logging and sell your wood. So you've got a logging place here. So this is obviously where you'd put down your wood sell point, I'm assuming, on the map. But yeah, big map, 4x map with pretty decent sized fields. And like I say, for a single player, you could own every one of these islands yourself and all these fields, of which, you know, there's like 68 68 numbered fields, which give you a lot to go at. You know, and we look at fields, so we select that one, 68, that's 500 grand. Look at contracts. 63 is a 20 acre field. 38 is a 16 acre field. 65 is a 44 acre field. What were they? 63 and 65. 63 down there. And 65. So yeah, 65 is a 44 acre field, 63 is 20 acres. So all those fields then are pretty huge. And even that one on its own, 20 odd acres. But obviously another issue you have with a map like this, because it uses additional fruit types, and has added all these additional fruit types, crop types, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de, yada-yada-yada, you have to be a bit careful about what mods you use. Because if you go into, like, the store, and I know I haven't got any mods added, like third-party mods and stuff. The big one issue I ran into was seeders and planters. All the vanilla vehicles in the game can harvest, can seed and plant the new crops. All the seeders can, and planters of course can seed the crops that they're allowed to plant, so I assume there's carrots, onions and whatever else there is there. And the reason for that is because obviously the vanilla vehicles, all the vanilla seeders and planters, they have specializations in their XML. So, for example, this fader stat specialization will be planter, and in the game's default fill type XML file, it will actually have the planter specialization, and in that it will show you what crops it can basically plant. So you've got your corn, your sunflowers, your soybeans, your sugar beet, your cotton, in this case your carrots, your onions and whatever else that third one is. And that's a planter, and all the planters use the same specialisation, apart from the Great Plains now But since patch 1.3, it's been changed. So the Great Plains has dual specialisation. It is a planter and a seeder. So the Great Plains can plant every single crop. The seeders, obviously their specialisation is seeder. So they can only plant the crops that are defined within the XML file under the seeder specialisation. And it's the same with other things as well, like harvesters. Harvesters will, well, the harvesters themselves will show you again what crops they can harvest under the harvester specialisation. Forage harvesters will have the forage harvester specialisation, which will list the crops that they can harvest. Same for like potato trucks, sugar beet vehicles, sugar cane vehicles, all that sort of stuff. Cotton vehicles. They've all got their own specialisation. If we look at some of these headers, I don't know if any of them have probably been modified much. Forage headers have added, again, using specialisations. Corn headers have got extra special. So the corn headers now do an extra crop type lot. So they've had their another one added to their specialisation. And probably the same along here for the normal headers for harvesters. And it's the same thing for like trailers as well. They will have a specialisation. They'll not like be bulk is normally the fill type associated with trailers. So again, in the map XML, they've added all these additional crop types into that. But then there are some that obviously only do forage stuff. So this trailer here has obviously the forage specialisation as its fill type. Now what happens with a lot of mods, and this applies to a lot of like the Stevie mods that I use in all my Let's Play videos and stuff like that and other mods, is the people don't use the specialisations groups within the mods. They just go and add as the fill type all the individual crop types. They add them as, you know, there'll be a huge section of fill type and capacity for each of the fill types within the mods XML, which is great because then obviously it enables the modded vehicles to basically do all the base game stuff. So like this trailer here can pretty much fill with everything. The problem with that is, of course, because it's not using the specializations and doesn't read the specialization XML, the fill type XML from the map, it's got its fill types listed within the equipment's own XML. They don't support the additional fruit types. So for example, if I had, for example, Stevie's Seedhawk mod installed currently and active, I wouldn't be able to plant any of the new crops that are on this map. I can only plant the ones that are in the original game. So I would only be able to plant wheat, barley, oats, cotton, canola, sunflower, soybeans, corn, potato, sugar beet, oilseed radish, grass and sugar cane. Possibly poplars if he's added poplars to the seeder, but I wouldn't be able to use anything. So when playing a map like this, modded seeders, modded trailers, modded harvesters most likely won't work. You will have to use the vanilla versions or check that the modded version uses a specialization for its fill type or its work mode rather than just individually listing crops, because then it will actually read from the map's fill types. But yeah, I was looking at this map and I was thinking of having a bit of a play on it, because I've been looking to do a second map now for a while, because obviously I've only been playing on Fenton Forest and doing a Let's Play series on Fenton Forest, and it's the only map I've been playing on, and it's not that I'm getting bored of it. I'm not getting bored of it or anything at all like that at all. I just think for variety on the channel, on my YouTube channel, having a second series on a different map might be appealing to some people who perhaps don't like Fenton Forest. I don't know why they wouldn't. It's one of the best maps for Farming Simulator 19. But, you know, everyone has their own opinions. Those opinions can be wrong. So I was thinking of, I wanted to play on a big map. Originally I looked at the Midwest Horizon map that was getting a lot of internet shouting and appeal, and that being a big 4X American map. But I loaded that map up, didn't like it. Didn't like the fact that in new farmer mode you do not start with a farm. You have no buildings, you have no silo, anything like that. And there is no really good areas on the map to build your own farm, put your own vehicles and equipment and trailers and stuff. And, you know, so I was a little bit, I would say, annoyed by that. But, you know, a great big 4X map with 128 numbered fields, then another 50 grass fields, and yet they didn't factor in and allow for people to build their own farm, build their own base, put their own farmhouse down, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, give this map its due. Give this map some credit. You've got areas like here where there's nothing that you could build and put buildings. There's an area here you can build and put buildings. You know, you've got your area here where you could put in your own buildings, build your own farm. Never mind the fact you've got the big fields here and the other field here. Just because, obviously, for the multiplayer competition side of things, they've got these signs telling you what needs to be placed there. You don't have to place those items there. Not at all. You could build a great farm complex on one of these, like, central islands. You know, on one of these you could build quite a good farm. In fact, you could build a huge farm complex with all sheds, equipment, everything all filed and saved, which can then go off and work fields all over the map and all over the place. And that's what, like I say, I quite like that. The Midwest Horizon map didn't offer me that kind of freedom. It has a lot of areas that could have been used for building your own farm, but then the mod author's gone and chucked his own placed his own buildings down, which have no absolute function or reason that you can't get rid of. And plus, although he's got 128 fields and 50 odd grass fields on the map, 4X map, they are so close together. A lot of them literally have, like, there's literally like a little strip of land, like that, probably as wide as this, separating them for you to drive your vehicles down and that, without obviously running all over the crops on either of the fields. But then to make things really flipping annoying, he's gone and put trees then down those little skinny gaps, so you can't drive your vehicles down them. And worse, when I tried to remove some of the trees using the Brooks all-in-one tree cutter tool type thing to remove the trees, remove the stumps and everything, some of the trees, I think the trees are this type of tree here, and they're basically immortal. The cutter won't cut them. You can't cut them down. The Brooks just doesn't recognise them, doesn't do a thing to them. So I was like, that's made that very interesting. Then I can't even get rid of the trees to make a pathway through to all the different fields. So then I went into the Giants editor, loaded up the Midwest Horizon map in Giants editor, removed a lot of the trees myself with the editor, removed a lot of the silly buildings that have no function. So I've got areas where I could then smooth the terrain, paint the terrain with concrete or gravel or whatever, and put my own buildings and build my own farm. But then when I got into the game, I was like, I can't be bothered. I really can't be bothered to go to all that length. I can't. All that length just to have, just before I even start thinking about planting a crop or working a field. If I have to, you know, spend that much time setting up a map to be able to play it, it's not worth it. You know, I want to load into a map, have a farm, the basics of a farm already in place, and a few vehicles and stuff, so I can get started, and then build from there and go from there. And unfortunately, the Midwest Horizon map doesn't allow that, and I can't believe it's on the Giants Mod Hub as a modding test. I don't think for a minute it'll pass testing. I think it'll get rejected because it really does need. It's very bland, and some of the textures and stuff like that. And in certain places where the roads are, like here where you've got a road, and then you've got your fields next to the road, there's great big drops where the road isn't placed actually on the ground, or the mod author hasn't raised the fields up to be the same height as the roads. You know? And I was like, yeah, don't see that being a good map. So I was looking at this one and thinking, well, this one has possibility, but like I say, I think this map has been made and designed with multiplayer in mind, and as a competitive multiplayer type map for 4 different farms to compete against each other. I think that's the concept of the map. It's hard to say because, like I say, every bit of documentation that comes with it is in some foreign language that I sadly can't read, speak, understand, and I'm not going to go out of my way to translate it to try and figure out what it's all about. Like I say, my only sort of that pipe looks awfully low to me for dispensing digestate. You would collide with that. My only appeal to map authors, mod makers in general, is, you know, please make sure you have English language as, you know, descriptions, instructions, all that sort of stuff, you know, as a, you know, 100% must include in every mod, every map, and then, you know, add whatever alternative languages you like to use or whatever in your place of residence or wherever it is in the world that you're from as additional languages. You know, the Giants editor gives you that option. It gives you all the different language boxes, you know. Google Translate your descriptions and your instructions and everything to different languages. Fill the boxes, and then when you publish the mod from within Giants Editor and it creates the zip file, it's all done for you. But anyway, this was a look at the New Farmer map, and as well, it's not New Farmer map, whatever it is, the NF Challenge map mod thing. Like I say, I would love to know what all this stuff means, but unfortunately I don't speak whatever language. I think it's German. That looks German to me. I only did German for 1 year at school. I didn't get the option of carrying on with German. I got forced by the school to carry on to do French. I did French 2 years, had 1 year where we did German, and then did French the last 2 years. And I never learned a word of French either, so it wouldn't even be any good if this was in French. I wouldn't be able to read it. So I have no idea what this is all about, what the challenge or purpose is. I figured it would be a nice fun map for me to play on by myself. With all these, with 4 different islands, with different fields. I could plant different crop types and stuff on different fields. I could put placeables in the middle. I could have all my animal pens and all my production, you know, the production mods, station mods that have been released this past week. I could have them all placed on here. I could have all my sheds for all my equipment, all my buildings, big silos for storing stuff in. Loads of stuff. Would have been a very, very promising and pleasant map to play on. And I might still do it, but I wouldn't be recording and doing a let's play on it, on this map. For the very reason, like I say, the big one for me is I really don't like seeing stuff in foreign. I really do need English signs on me maps. Anyway, this was a look at the map. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, if you have, please go ahead, click the like button. Feel free to leave your questions, comments, suggestions or feedback, and if you do know anything about this map, or you do happen to speak the language on any of those signs and can clue me up a bit as to what a lot of them are saying and what a lot of them mean, then please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you're not already doing so, or if you haven't already done so, please make sure you click that subscribe button. And then also, feel free to share this video wherever you see fit on all your social media platforms that you may inhabit or interact with. And let as many people as you know or think might like to watch the video know about it. I've been Siwariso. This has been a bit of a map tour, a bit of a look at a new mod map. And I will see you all again very soon with some more Farming Simulator 19 content. Goodbye for now.